kitchen cabinets to go ahead and redo your kitchen. That can add a dramatic alteration to your home. Go to 5starpainting.com, mention me, you get free paint with your next project. They'll have a free color consultation, so if you haven't decided what your color choices are going to be, they can help you with that. There's obviously a free consultation, whether you need color consultations or not. And they have a project manager that will be there to inspect the project before and after the work is taken care of, to make sure that it's done the right way before they pack up and leave, so that way you're happy with the project. 5starpainting.com, mention me, get free paint with your next project.
Well, look who's here.
Seneca Scott wrote this article, and this is about the statue in Boston. By now, I'm sure you've seen it, the new Boston sculpture, quote, honoring Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife, Coretta Scott King, looks more like a pair of hands hugging a beefy, male anatomical than a special moment shared by the iconic couple. Created by the organization Embrace Boston, the sculpture has inspired mad jokes on Twitter, and rightly so. But for my family, it's rather insulting. You see, Coretta was my first cousin, my grandfather's niece, and the daughter of my great uncle, Obadiah Scott. Martin married up. Coretta came from a distinguished family with a significant legacy in her own right. There was a reason that she kept the Scott name. We were a black family that owned land, lots of it. Martin knew what he was doing when he pursued her, signaling intentions to marry from the outset. After his assassination, Coretta created a legacy of
Stream Elements Boss Running Emoji Robot
against apartheid in South Africa. $10 million were wasted to create a masturbatory metal homage to my legendary family members, one of the all-time greatest American families. Still, the Boston debacle could be a blessing in disguise by exposing the insidiousness of astroturf woke movements that have come to dominate black America. How could anyone fail to see that this was a major D-word move, pun intended, that brings very few, if any, tangible benefits to struggling black families? $10 million this thing cost? What could $10 million do for the homeless in Boston? What could $10 million do for the inner city in Boston? Consider
it would be an incredible blessing if YLS would support my fundraiser so I can get a TGT2, please and thank you. My 120 T500 is calm.
And keep up with food and energy costs that are rising faster than ever before for most of us. Building expensive, stupid new statues with no faces on them and tearing down others for no good reason are part of the same performative altruism and purity pageants that are mainstays of the woke left. So now, Boston has a big bronze male anatomical image that's supposed to represent black love at its purest and most devotional. This is no accident. The woke algorithm is racist and classist. Therefore, its programming will always produce things that harm black and poor people. This sculpture is an especially egregious example of the woke machine's callousness and vanity. Hopefully, it will show more black people that these progressives just aren't in this for our benefit. Now, that is Seneca Scott, okay, a direct descendant of Coretta Scott King. And the first picture that I saw,
it would be an incredible blessing if YLS would support my fundraiser so I can get a TGT2, please and thank you.
There's no way that
my
this is real. And of course, my normal friend came back and said,
no.
yes, Casey, you already know that this is real. Now you need to go down the rabbit hole and see the statue from all angles. The best angle of the statue looks like it's holding a giant piece of poo. That's the best angle of the statue. The worst angles of the statue show various other things, one of which was described in this particular article by Seneca Scott. There is the initial reaction, the first photo that was released to the public, which appeared to be another sexual act. And part of that is you just got, limbs kind of everywhere, and it doesn't make any sense. Now, when you see the picture that this is supposed to be modeled after, you can kind of, sort of, very, very strugglingly kind of get what they were trying to go for. But it's only after you see the original image. Why not just make the image or the statue look like the image? Why not? Why not just take it, cut them both off at the waist and have them doing that embrace from the photo? Why? Why did the last Martin Luther King statue have to look like he was Asian instead of looking like himself?
It would be an incredible blessing if YLS would support my fundraiser so I can get a TGT2, please and thank you.
Are they just hiring
my
people that rank here qualified? I don't know. There seems to be a lot of very high-profile statues, not just of MLK, but of others, where the company that was hired to produce the art didn't make the art look like the subject. Perhaps the person who did this sculpture can't do faces. I don't know. But regardless, it's a giant steaming pile of garbage is what it is. And somebody came up to me today, is like, what are they thinking? Like, how do you get this out of that photograph? And I was reminded of something, and I will remind you because I have to say this ad nauseum. If you go back to the 1950s, in the 1950s, there was a book that was written by Cleon Skousen. It's called The Naked Communist. Now, in that, he has the 45 communist goals. These are goals that people at the FBI were able to identify that the Soviets wanted to do in order to advance communism in the West, particularly in the United States. Communist goal number 22. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all form of artistic expression. It goes on to explain that an American communist cell was told to, and I quote, eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings and substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. This is a shapeless, awkward, and meaningless form. Go to the parks in Michiana. Seriously, doesn't matter what side of the border. Go to the parks in Michiana that have statues. What are they?
It would be an incredible blessing if YLS would support my fundraiser so I can replace my T500 with a new TGT2, please and thank you.
Communist Goal 23. Control art critics and directors of art museums. Quote, our plan is to promote ugliness, repulsive, meaningless art.
Oh, yeah.
Well, goal achieved.
Think
about, with the exception of, we have what, one park here with a piece of the World Trade Center, right, John? With the exception of that, think about the artwork that is at the various parks around here. For those of you who are listening in other states, what about the artwork at your parks? Are any of them just like actual art? We've got one park here with a statue that honors, is it the Civil War? Yeah, Civil War, right? Around the river, John? Yeah, Civil War. So we got one statue that honors the Civil War. We've got a piece of the World Trade Center at another park. And then we have a bunch of shapeless, meaningless, ugly pieces of art. Just complete abstracts. So you start looking for meaningful art in public squares, and what you inevitably seem to find is that, oh yeah, we just drew something up and we went ahead and made a statue out of it. This one is much more egregious in that it was supposed to specifically represent this photograph, and it doesn't. It looks like somebody who just started with clay putting something together. It looks terrible. And furthermore, the color choice for the statue really does make it look like at one point it's holding a giant piece of poo. It's not a great statue at all. It doesn't do anything for the legacy of Martin Luther King or Coretta Scott King or their relationship or their respective accomplishments as individuals or as a couple. It doesn't do anything but promote repulsive, shapeless, meaningless art. That's all it does. MNC News Time is 3:32. Time to check out Impress Jewelry Creations, creating meaningful jewelry for the moments that last a lifetime.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. The ones that get me are the sculptures on the roundabouts in downtown South Bend and the one south of downtown. I never know what these things are.
I don't even.
There's a statue of Martin Luther King Jr. with Liberty Reverend. It's
Notre Dame's got some good statues, but they're real statues.
Sorry.
Albeit I didn't like it either. I don't think anybody's gonna like this. This is dog crap. This is an awful, awful statue. I don't think I've seen a single person say that this statue was good. Everybody appears to be united on, yeah, this is pretty awful. But this isn't one of those things where like the face is messed up, so you can fix the face. I mean, the whole thing has to be scrapped, like melted down and scrapped. Just a complete insult. Yeah, the part that I think looks like a turd is what they're saying references the male anatomy. $10 million.
Lost grip.
John, I wish I could get paid $10 million for sucking at what I do. That'd be great.
Hi, Grace. First race of the day, period. I broke another brake elastomer, so I made some changes to my brakes again today. I'm still not happy with it.
Well, hopefully everybody had a decent
I might just
weekend.
go back to the original springs until we get a better mod. I think that's probably going to be the best solution. I don't know. I'm kind of the sensitivity right now, it's like on 85. But I kind of like the way it feels. I need to get used to it. Alright, go. Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, you know, it's just like it's usually right today.
I don't think I have any allergy medicine in there. Otherwise, I'll offer you some.
Famous people know.
All right. Oh yeah, I did see something about Nashville.
I know. She said she got me in. She's very sensitive about it because you know she had to work it, and her dad died.
Yeah, something that's not
So
not her
it's
fault.
not her fault.
I didn't mean it that way.
No,
It was just
and truth be told, I drove out all these trips the day off my work. She told me we were traveling to work.
yeah. It was much more an observation of, oh, she's going again. It's
No, I know.
not
I know.
not a oh wow, she's taking more time off. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because no, most of her stuff has been personal.
I'm taking the first week of April off.
First week of April. Okay.
I should be.
Denny Sand says, I just Googled and NPR has an article with no photos. Really? They don't want you to see the photos. I wonder why they don't want you to see the photos. Here, I can help you out. This is just one photo.
It's confusing.
Well, at the very least, it's confusing. At the very worst, it's god-awful.
Yeah.
So
I can see someone was speaking against it.
Alvita apparently didn't like it either. I've not seen a single person come out and go, oh, this looks fantastic. Everything that I've seen so far, even from like the news people who were at the unveiling, were like, it's like, I'm not exactly.
The best you can do, even from the news.
There were several of them, and like, there's one angle where it looks like somebody is literally shoving their head into their butt.
Oh my gosh,
it's so bad.
it is.
And I guess did they polish it, or is that just the? I don't know if the polished versions of it. I don't know if those are like the artist interpretations or renders or whatever.
All right, so Bakersfield. Casey Hendrickson.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Hopefully, you had yourself some awesome new windows from Favorsby Window when you saw the first images of the MLK statue in Boston, because no doubt you screamed. And you probably didn't want your neighbors to hear you scream because, the cops get involved, the whole thing. But, yeah, noise pollution is a bit of a problem. I personally don't like hearing my neighbors, and so I like having good insulation just so I'm not constantly hearing what's happening outside, it's interrupting me, that sort of thing. And most people want some privacy about what's happening inside their house. They don't want people to be walking by and being able to listen in for various reasons. I don't judge. I mean, I do, but I don't do it publicly most of the time. In a silent way, I will judge you. But it's your privacy. Noise pollution is a big problem. Yes, new windows are going to be more energy efficient. Yes, new windows are going to help you with your power bill, both in the winter and the summer months. But also, it really is that noise pollution, being able to keep those exterior noises out so you can sleep, you can hear the TV, and you're not bothered by the things that are happening out there. And also privacy for you and your family. Go to Favorsby Window right now. The extended B Energy Savings event is happening. All products are up to 50% off, plus $2,000 B Instant Energy Savings Credit up to, and up to $1,100 in 2023 federal energy tax credits, all available at Favorsby Window online right now at bwindow.com. Set up a free consultation today, and of course, let them know that I sent you. Okay, let's talk about the ATF. I know that a lot of you are furious about this, and the ATF basically turned a bunch of you into felons overnight. So let's take a look at this. U.S. Department of Justice has announced that it has submitted its final rule to address stabilizing braces, accessories used to convert pistols into short
It would be an incredible blessing if YLS would support my fundraiser so I can replace my 2500 with a new TGT2, please, and skip the rest. Did you get the steering wheel yet?
A move like this was the court struck it down. Okay? It took a while to get there, but the courts did strike it down. It's entirely possible they will strike this down too. The other thing is, you do have Republicans in House of Representatives. I did listen to Matt Gaetz on with Tim.
Don't you crash
washers the last year today.
If you want to get some inside baseball
around that all day long, trying to
happening
figure out why they're splitting.
During the speaker
Pretty much confirmed it with Josh Benelli that I was just applying way too much pressure.
Explaining all of it.
So I went back to one of the Springs plus some of the spacers.
were talking about. Some of you were convinced that there was a giant conspiracy.
First of the day,
but he did address
got the
specifically what they were talking about.
And drag my butt all day long.
A lot of very good information came out of that interview. So if you have some time, I would sit down for Tim Pool's podcast with Matt Gaetz. It just happened, I think, just last week. So very, very good.
What up, Morway? How you doing, bud?
But the last time that this happened, I mean, it did get overturned by a court. It's just that there's a lot of lives that got kind of messed with in the meantime. So expect the same. They did talk about defunding the ATF. Matt Gaetz is for it. They did talk about getting
rid of the NFA. It's really good to see you, dude.
Matt Gaetz did talk about that. He doesn't think
it'll
happen, but there are also some
6-4.
court cases that are happening right now that may force that. So it all just depends. Right now, it's still in play. The rule allows for a 120-day period for manufacturers, dealers, and individuals to register tax-free any existing NFA short-barreled rifles covered by the rule.
All right, bud. You too.
So this is the announcement on there. So you got 120 days to register for free. Okay. Virginia-based Gun Owners of America released a statement condemning the action and decrying what it called the Biden administration's latest assault on the Second Amendment rights of gun owners. This administration continues to find new ways to attack gun owners, and this time their target is brace-equipped firearms that allow persons with disabilities to safely and effectively use pistols.
Wow.
This is what these devices are intended for. Do some other people get creative with them? Sure, but this is what these devices are intended for people with disabilities to be able to own and use a firearm. We will continue to work with our industry partners to amplify the disapproving voices in the firearms industry and the Gun Owners Foundation. Our sister Legal Arm will be filing suit in the near future. That is according to Eric Pratt, the Gun Owner of America's Senior Vice President.
He
wrote that in an announcement right after the ruling. The new rule states that in the past, owners of the pistol braces violated federal firearms laws unwittingly. This rule gives them 120 days from publication in the Federal Register to register, destroy, or turn in their newly outlawed firearms. It is a shame that so many of you own leaky boats. The amount of boat accidents where you lose your valuables, I hear, is at near epidemic levels. And I'm very sorry to hear that so many of you are having so many of these catastrophic boat sinking incidents. The rule waives any taxes or fees for registering firearms during the 120 days. The number of Americans impacted by the new rule is difficult to determine. By the way, I don't even think that they can process the amount of registrations in 120 days.
I couldn't find any blue tag anywhere.
If everybody had a functioning boat that didn't sink, and they wanted to register,
make good stuff.
I don't think they have the manpower.
Do what I need to do. Sorry, getting soft. It was hard all day today. My gloves.
I don't think that's possible. You know how many people have these braces?
Tomorrow. That'd be cool.
I don't believe it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe it. The ATF estimates that 3 million pistol braces have been sold. I'm sorry, that's way underselling that. Even if it was 3 million, 120 days, not enough time to register them. The Gun Owners of America and Second Amendment advocates put the number closer to 40 million, which seems much more plausible if you ask me. So the ATF is out there going, we can register 3 million of these pistol braces in 120 days. Sure, they can. They can. I don't think you could. But I also don't think it's 3 million. It's much closer to 40 million. At issue is a device introduced in 2012 to assist shooters with disabilities and others who may need help shooting pistols built on the AR-15 platform. The stabilizing brace attaches to the rear of the pistol and the shooter's forearm. This allows the shooter a steadier aim while holding the pistol with one hand. Okay? Why do you hold the pistol with one hand? What if you don't have another hand? In 2014, the ATF received requests from the law enforcement and firearms dealers about the possible reclassification of pistols equipped with stabilizers and short-barreled rifles under the NFA. Those who contacted the ATF were concerned that the brace would be used as a stock, allowing the shooter to shoulder the pistol like a rifle. Look, here's the easiest way to just resolve this entire thing. Legalize short-barreled rifles, because outlawing them is stupid. Ain't that hard. I know there's a bunch of leftists out there who have no idea what that even is or why I would say that. They're very confused. But if you just allow short-barreled rifles, this isn't even an issue. Since then, the ATF has issued several open letters stating the braces did not change pistols into short-barreled rifles, because they don't. However, The new rule said that changes in the brace's design and information disseminated on how to use them make clear that the items turn pistols into prohibited SVRs. For these reasons, the DOJ must amend the regulatory definition of rifle. The new rule reads. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. We should probably stop letting, a law that was written in 1934 to be crudely amended to allow them to basically just take anything from you that they want. How about that?
One good laugh.
So for the members of Congress who might be listening, especially the new member in the 2nd District, which I have full confidence, by the way, that he opposes this, but yeah, this is the type of stuff that needs to stop. So I fully expect that this is going to lose in court, but there's going to be a period of time where, it's going to go and probably going to go into effect, and you have to make the best decision that you can make, and hopefully you have enough money in the bank account to patch the holes in your boat, and you don't have any boating accidents with a tragic loss of all of your Second Amendment gear. Because I hate seeing people lose thousands of dollars in equipment that way, because it's very important stuff. Plus, it's an environmental hazard when it all goes to the bottom of the river, right? Right? So just, get some flex tape, patch the holes in the bottom of your boat. The TV commercials say the flex tape works on that, although anybody's actually attempted to do it has had their boat sink. But just listen to the commercial. Flex tape will seal the boat up just fine. Just have all of your gun equipment on there, and when it sinks to the bottom of the river, I'm very sorry for that. More coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
Yeah. Our 6-year-old gave me her Japanese food from the restaurant yesterday. Her leftovers. She said I could take them for lunch. I'm like, are you sure? Because they won't be there for you. I'll take them for lunch. And sure enough, at like 10 o'clock, Shanna sends me a message and goes, do you have Harper's food? Because she woke up wanting that food. And so I told her the story. And she goes, she says that she never said that.
Oh, boy.
I came this close. I didn't eat it because I expected her to change her mind. I came this close to recording it at the restaurant because I knew she was going to change her mind about it.
Boy.
I came so close to recording it.
Mm-hmm. I'm a C? No, I'm not. I'm a DA. Oh, crap. Oh, man. Mixing it up with the freaking alpha.
Oh, kids.
Hate them.
Well, I bought the wrong American cheese last week at the store, and my 22-year-old daughter
Kidding
let me know about it.
Seriously?
And she has to make her lunch for school, student teaching at an elementary school here, and so she's making her lunch, and they ran out of Kraft singles. So I bought some Kraft singles, but apparently I bought the low-fat kind.
No. You can't buy low-fat kind.
Low-fat cheese is gross. Low-fat anything is gross. Fat is flavor, man.
But she
Hey, 2%.
immediately and sent me a text.
Yeah, 2% ones, man.
She failed at the cheese.
Fat is flavor.
That's funny. The 6-year-old really likes those, and then everybody else likes Sargento.
Yeah, I like sushi. Southwest Vision Center.
Go forward.
Exactly. What guns? I don't know what you're talking about. I have the guns. I just don't have any of the braces. I store all of my guns at vacation home in Afghanistan. Good for you. Yeah, man. Harper is...
Stream Element Spot
she takes back everything that she gives you.
It would be an incredible blessing if
Harper is going to be a
would
problem.
support my fundraiser so I can replace my
She's the one that's going to give me a heart
T500
attack
with the
when
new
she's a teenager.
GT2s. Please and thank you, HT. Did we get the steering wheel yet? NOO Dave. Dante Crash Dave. URL GT5
Exactly
Norway 64. Have a good night, Dave.
Are you trying to call in? Hold on a second. Somebody might be trying to call in, John. I didn't have the call screener up. Oh, sorry. I don't see it yet, but somebody on the Discord server is asking for the phone number, so if you want to call, I'll take your call on it. I'm happy to. Record everything, Eric. Record everything.
Your breaking news and weather station.
If only there were a device that you could purchase and get home that would allow you to, you know, make braces and stuff.
All right.
So if you were disabled
I'll be here all week, boys and girls.
things hit the fan, you could actually exercise your Second Amendment rights. We've got some people calling in right now. Just give John a moment to go ahead and screen it. We'll take those phone calls here in a minute. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. But oh man, it's look, it is what it is. You know, it's probably going to go to the courts. It'll probably get overturned, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, you know, you have to adhere to the law while it's in place. But I do expect it to be overturned. It'll take some time. The bump stock ban got overturned here recently, but you know, look how long the bump stock ban took for it to happen. You know, we're talking about 3-4 years. Something like that, probably 4 years for that thing to get overturned. So, just a consideration. All right, to the phone lines we go. Andrew, welcome to the program.
Hey, Casey, how's it going?
It's going well, man. What's up?
Not a whole lot, just in machining world right now. So, quick question.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling what I need to feel.
That we have this object. I bought my pistol. It is registered as a pistol. It did not come with a brace when I purchased it.
Right.
How does this work? Are they gonna... am I a felon because I own this object? Or how is this working?
That is a great question. Here's why what Andy is saying is pretty interesting. So you've got the gun. The gun is its own entity. Then you have the brace. That's its own entity. Is merely owning the brace with it not being attached to the gun enough for it to be an SBR? Or can you own the brace and own the gun but never marry the two of them together and be just fine? How does that work? And if you're going, right? Remember when I told everybody how they were going to beat the 80% lower law? This is one of those things, Andy, where it's like, language here is going to be kind of important.
It's very important. Like, I have a pistol brace on one of my 16-inch barreled rifles because I just like how it is. So, I do not see how this works. I'm totally confused how they're gonna incriminate people. It's not a gun, it's an object.
Right. Right now, it's just a hunk of plastic.
Right, exactly.
Most of them are hunks of plastic. I'm sure there's some aluminum ones out there, but and that, you know, how do you say that is an SBR, and therefore you have to? So I mean, theoretically, this is a good question. You know what? I have to get the armed attorneys on because I like them anyway. This would probably be a really good question for them. Because if it's not attached to the gun, how can you say it's an SBR? There's no mechanical functionality at all
How you doing, bud?
with the brakes. So it would have to be attached to the firearm itself for the firearm to be considered an SBR. Merely having a piece of plastic, I don't think would be right. So this is, first of all, the firearm industry is going to find a way around this. It'll take them no time at all to do it. Just like with the 80% lower thing, the way that the language was pretty crystal clear that all you had to do was not mail it as a hit, and it was still legal. And that's exactly what happened. So in less than 3 minutes of the rule going active and going live, they had beat it. And so, you know, I can see that this is going to go the same way.
I hope it does. I'm just worried. You know, I got a nice squeaky clean record. I'm up for renewal for my CCW this year.
Yeah.
Supposed to be getting a CAN approved any day now.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
You know, I just know how things work. It don't matter. Once that felony goes on there, even if it gets scrubbed, that makes your life a whole lot harder.
Sure it does. And then every state's got different laws for scrubbing it and all that other stuff. So yeah, it's a mess. Well, you got 120 days technically, and when the rule goes active, you'll have 120 days from that point. Okay, sort this out, and then who knows? Maybe there'll be a stay, and the whole legal battle will be happening and that sort of thing. Maybe the bump stops.
I'm hoping that happens, and I hope that other people bring up the same point I did: is how is this piece of plastic an SBR?
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. All right, Andy, appreciate the call, man.
Yep.
All right,
thank
take
you.
care.
Talk later.
Yeah, it's so the armed attorneys, they have a YouTube channel, but they're a Second Amendment law firm, and they're really, really good. It's a man and a woman. I don't know their names, and I apologize. But it's a very informative show.
Yes, we are.
You might have to reach out to them because I'm sure they're going to do a video on this if they haven't already, and maybe bring them up and hopefully talk to them about all of this. If I can get both of them or one of them on, that would be great. I think, because they are really good. And they've been following a couple of cases that they think could potentially bring down the NFA altogether, which also weighs in all of this, too. Anyway, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, rumble.com/Casey the host.
WT.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play some music, folks. I'll be back here in just a couple minutes.
SilverFoxArt.com. That's what this ad is for. Oh my gosh, I'm not happy with these brakes, man.
Stream elements stop running, emoji robot.
There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Below me, bully boys blow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her. cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the whaleman's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. Our boats were lost, there were only 4, and still that whale did go. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on. The line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The weatherman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
I had to reinstall the game roller today. Oh, you better show up. No, lose it.
Stream element spot running, emoji robot. Skipping some comments. Did you get the steering wheel yet?
Yeah,
Hello,
I
Dave.
get it.
Donkey Crash Dave. URL GT5 Norway 64. Have a good night, Dave. Stream element spot running, emoji robot.
Fresh oil in it. During that black screen on me. You better not do it again. There we go. Yeah, the music is kind of loud, I know. I'm sorry. Just different file formats.
Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I have sent a request to Richard and Emily. They are the armed attorneys. You should follow them online anyway. They're great. That have officially sent a request for an interview. So hopefully I'll hear back from them. They have not published a video on the brace SBR ruling, but their last video is the bump stock video, where they did a really good job of explaining all of that. Don't forget, we're live streaming. You can go to rumble.com/KCTheHost. You can also go to Odyssey at KCTheHost. If you want to watch the video version of this show. If you want to go and listen to the audio, download the free MNC app. Go to 953mnc.com, or any of the internet radio apps will pick up our feed. All right. RealNewsMichiana.com. The St. Joseph County Election Board found the Democrat board member of the St. Joseph County Voter Registration Office in violation of election laws for illegally registering another Democrat to vote. In a hearing, the board found that Amanda Conrad illegally registered a non-eligible person to vote the day before the 2022 general election. Now, we had told you about this case before. This lady had repeatedly espoused falsehoods about all sorts of issues surrounding the clerk case and the keys and everything else, but had gotten caught registering somebody
come on already.
the day before the election, which is illegal, and then allowing that person to vote and then trying to hide it from the Republican. She got busted. And then when she got busted, she had a hissy fit at the board meeting. For some strange reason, decided to lash out at Clifton French, who was just there documenting the entire thing. Just had a collective hissy fit about it. And now the board is, which they tried telling her that you're probably going to get an attorney. Probably going to stop talking, but she was, she was in full Karen rage at that point. So here's the deal. According to the election officials, a woman called into the voter registration office the day before the general election asking to speak with a Democrat official. Specifically, I want to talk to the Democrats. Okay? She was transferred to the voter registration office and directed to speak with a Democrat employee by then Deputy St. Joseph County Auditor John Murphy. Murphy is a Democrat, was on the ballot at the time, and was narrowly elected as the auditor. The woman's call was answered by the Republican board member who attempted to assist the caller. The Republican board member discovered the woman's voter registration had been canceled earlier in the year because her information was not up to date. It turns out the former Democrat board member, Mohammed Shabazz, was the person who canceled the registration after several attempts were made to get the proper information. So we ended up finding out the information's no good and everything else. So Mohammed Shabazz went through the legal process, found, tried to reach out to her, tried to get her correct information, didn't. Had to cancel the registration. That's what he did. So just so everybody's crystal clear, this isn't Republicans, disenfranchising a Democrat voter in St. Joseph County. This was Mohammed Shabazz, a Democrat, who attempted to, correct the information for this woman. She didn't cooperate for whatever reason, okay? She'll probably say that she didn't get any of that or what have you. But nonetheless, he canceled her registration. She didn't realize it, know it, pay attention to it until the day before the election. Eventually, the call was sent over to Amanda Conrad, who secretly registered the woman to vote at 11 a.m. Okay. Records show that the woman cast her ballot at an early voting location right after she got registered to vote that day. So she was illegally registered the day that she voted, way beyond the deadline that you're allowed to register to vote. Voters must be registered 30 days prior to an election. However, the law does allow for certain exceptions if, for instance, an error was made by the voter registration office, which makes sense. If it's their fault, you should be penalized for their mistake. The voter can have their status corrected. That can only be done if the error was made by the voter registration office and not at the fault of the voter themselves. In an instance of an error being made, the voter registration official must issue what is called a certificate of error, and the voter is given a provisional ballot. This process must be done and approved by both
Stream
the
Element
Democrat
Spot running emoji robot. Skipping some comments. Did you get the steering wheel yet? MOO Dave.
And it was not
Donkey Crash
in the
Dave.
general election.
URL GT5 Morway 64.
If it happened this one time,
Have a good night,
has
Dave.
it happened before?
Stream Element Spot running emoji robot.
For doing it other times. Given that Miss Conrad is an activist, has she ever engaged in any activity like this before? We don't have any evidence that she has, but that becomes the question. So she's facing criminal charges, both at the federal and state levels. This is a big no-no. You illegally register somebody to vote and then allow them to vote that day, you're in big trouble. And I know that Butch Morgan just passed away, but that's the biggest case here locally that we have where voter registration fraud happened, and he and two other people went to prison. Ironically, one of those people got out of prison and now works in the clerk's office. Go figure. Conrad could face up to 10 years in federal prison for election fraud and conspiracy. Doubt she'll get that. She could also be facing a level 6 felony charge at the state level for election fraud. The election board stated that they did not plan to send the violation along to any other agency. However, any citizen can now refer the crime along with proper investigators. So, there you go.
Sorry.
The Indiana Secretary of State is aware of the situation. They told Real News Michigan they will launch an investigation into this incident. So this is right there. And I know that when I post this on social media, I'll get censored, particularly on TikTok, because every time I posted about Ms. Conrad on TikTok, I got censored. No doubt about it. I will post this, and I will highlight that she's been found guilty. She violated the law, okay? Now, this is the voter registration office, but criminal referrals can now happen. So she could face these criminal charges, but she's not yet. But she did, in fact, violate the law, and it has been ruled that way by the board. So we'll see. So I'll make a video about this and see what happens. Mostly out of my own curiosity, but also, for some reason, the vote fraud videos go nuts on TikTok. Pretty interesting. And I'm not telling you to get on TikTok. I'm just saying if you're already on it, follow me at Casey the Host. I'm not telling anybody to get on TikTok. I understand the risk of being on TikTok, but if you're already there and you're already doing TikTok anyway, you might as well follow your boy here at Casey the Host. So, nonetheless, she's guilty. She's been found guilty. Now, potentially 10 years if criminal referrals end up happening. Secretary of State is investigating. We'll keep you updated on what's happening. Yeah, just another example of egregious behavior in St. Joseph County by one particular political party. Anyway, go to 953mnc.com. You can go ahead and take a look at all of the stories we have up there. And you can also follow me on your favorite social media network at Casey the Host. Right now, live streaming on Rumble and Odyssey at Casey the Host. Pick your platform, hit that subscribe button right there. We appreciate it. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. Casey Anderson.
Did you just go?
Dude. Was that necessary? Really? Was that necessary? Damn brake checks, man. Holy crap.
Alright. Biden's dogs. Thomas Massie introduced legislation to end the air travel vaccine mandate.
Compressors help me get more space. We can help with that. Me?
Yep. We.
I'm just going to go back to the screen.
Wait, did Joe Biden say car insurance was racist today, too? No basis for racist car insurance rates other than you're black and I'm white? What kind of word salad crap did he talk about today? Wow.
Sorry about my amazing drivers.
Crazy.
5-3 City, your breaking news and weather station.
Hey everybody, Casey Henderson here, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host. Just said it, Casey Henderson. Sorry, little discombobulated in here reading this. So I want to go over some of the, well, it's kind of the document thing, but it's also the House thing and a couple of things that are tied to the classified document situation. So we caught Biden having more documents that he wasn't supposed to have. Friendly reminder, I know that you probably all know this anyway, vice presidents can't have these documents. Vice presidents don't have the authority to declassify these documents. Joe Biden broke the law, okay? As we know it now, Joe Biden violated the law. It's a big deal. It's not getting the news coverage that the Trump documents did, but it is still getting news coverage. You realize we even have Adam Schiff, who, by the way, the best part of the Matt Gaetz interview with Tim Pool and gang was Matt Gaetz basically saying that Adam Schiff was evil. Because he is. Evil might be strong language, but he sure does come off that way. This is somebody who will look you right in the face and lie to you in order to demonize somebody. As I've said before, when he tried to obtain the nude photos of Trump that he thought were real, his released Russian prank. I firmly believe he was going to use those for self-gratification before he told anybody about them. This guy is just a weirdo. So Adam Schiff, who is the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, now no longer on that committee, he did say on Sunday that it is possible that national security was jeopardized by Joe Biden's documents. So even he's saying, yeah, we got a problem here. MSNBC and everybody else, in spite of them trying to defend Joe Biden, they're still kind of having to acquiesce that, yeah, this is problematic. He's not supposed to have these things. Now, part of the problem is you all went to bat for a false narrative about classified documents, just like you went to bat for a false narrative about quid pro quo. And you keep going to bat for these false narratives to try and demonize somebody when it is normal and commonplace for Democrats to participate in said activities. And then when the Democrat gets discovered doing the same thing that you just said was the most egregious offense in the history of offenses, it becomes impossible for you to defend your position. So the House GOP has been demanding visitor logs for Biden's house Not just because of these documents for some time now, and they were told before, a while ago, that there were no logs. Well, now they're coming back and saying that there's no logs again. Nobody believes them, but that's what they're saying. So let me go back in time. This is the Associated Press from a couple of days ago. Actually, I think this is early this morning. Newly empowered House Republicans on Sunday demanded the White House turn over all information related to its searches that have uncovered classified documents at Joe Biden's home and former office in the wake of more records found at his Delaware residence. So I think we're at, 4 caches of documents now. We have a lot of questions, says Representative Comer, chairman of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. He's a Republican from Kentucky. He said that he wants to see all documents and communications related to the searches by the Biden team, as well as visitor logs of the former vice president's home in Wilmington, Delaware, from January 20th to 2021 to now. He said the aim is to determine who might have had access to classified material and how the records got there. Now, we know that his son, Hunter, had access to the material because he listed it as his residence. He claims to have paid like $49,000 a month in rent, which nobody believes either, by the way. Seems like a money laundering operation. He also claims to have made repairs on the home, and he has receipts for said repairs, by the way. So we know that Hunter Biden had access to the home where the classified documents were stored. So did Hunter Biden go through the boxes in the garage? Was Hunter Biden the guy who was supposed to have the boxes in the garage of the classified documents? There's a lot of things that tie into the weirdness around Hunter Biden's business dealings overseas and how he leveraged the office of the vice presidency to make money. And, of course, the big guy, Joe Biden, got a cut. Now, here's where things get kind of interesting. This is not the first time that they've said that there's no logs for this house, but nobody believes them. You know, Joe Biden would conduct business in Wilmington, Delaware. If he's conducting business in Wilmington, Delaware,
Stream element spot running emoji robot.
Okay?
Skipping some comments. Did you get the steering wheel yet?
That we have no
NOL Dave.
Doesn't make
Don't
any sense.
crash Dave.
When he was vice president,
URL GT5 Norway 64. Have a good night Dave.
Tried telling us
Stream
in the
element
past that there
spot
aren't any
running
logs
emoji
because
robot.
nobody visited. Nobody believes that. So now if you go to Fox News this afternoon, there are no visitor logs for former Vice President Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware, according to the White House counsel's office in a statement today. Republicans in Capitol Hill demanded the visitor logs this weekend following revelations that Biden's lawyers had discovered a stash of classified documents inside the home's garage. While it is common practice to keep comprehensive visitor logs at the White House, Biden's lawyers say no such record exists for his home in Delaware. Okay. Nobody buys that, right? Everybody's kind of looking at this and going, doesn't pass the smell test, but okay. That's where we're at right now. Of course, we've got several stories I'll link to because they all have different takes on this. And, yeah, Comer doesn't buy this either. Given the serious national security implications, the White House must provide the Wilmington residents' visitor log. It is troubling that classified documents have been improperly stored at the home of former Vice President Biden for at least 6 years, raising questions about who may have reviewed or had access to classified information. Obviously. Seems pretty basic. Now, I guess I'm missing the news media narrative like we have with Trump with, hey, what foreign power was Joe Biden selling this information to? Because that's what they did with Trump. Even if you believe that Trump kept classified documents that he's not allowed to have, which didn't happen, but even if you believe that, the extra narrative that somehow he was going to sell them to Russia or somebody else, that's where the left went. That's where the news media went. That's where prominent Democratic politicians went. And that was never even a reasonable assumption to begin with. So where's that happening with Joe Biden? He's got them scattered all over the place. He's got classified documents at the University of Delaware. He's unsealing. He's kept those things sealed. What else do we got the office. We've got his house. We've got multiple stockpiles of documents all over his house, not just in the garage, but all over the house. They found 4 or 5 piles of these things now. Interesting stuff, don't you think? Now, New York Times, doing their duty as loyal leftists, the New York Times falsely claimed that it is an unproven claim that Joe Biden aided Hunter Biden's business. I'm sorry, what? You still running with this? Now, here's the thing. You can only get away with this stuff if you have a hyper-partisan population that just will not acknowledge the truth. The fact that there are still people in this world who will tell you that the Nazis in fascist Germany are right-wing conservatives and not left-wing socialists like they really are proves to the New York Times they can get away with lies like this. And so they do. And so MSNBC does. There are some people, even Matt Gaetz was talking about, hey, I actually had an interesting discussion on CNN. Looks like CNN is changing their tune. Don Lemon is out there going, hey, classified documents are a problem for Joe Biden. It's not going to lie. It doesn't look good. Now, some people are saying that this is, and I can't blame them, that this is proof that there appears to be a left-wing conspiracy to now get rid of Joe Biden. Like, this is the moment. I always told you they would use Hunter if they needed to get him out. They would do that. The ultra-leftist acolytes are out there saying that Trump supporters snuck in. True story. This happened. Trump supporters snuck into the Wilmington, Delaware house and planted the documents. True story. That was a claim that was made over the weekend on one of the news channels. Okay? If you say so. So you've got the right saying that the Democrats are using this to push Biden out. You got the left saying that Trump is sneaking into Joe Biden's house and planting documents. Because again, Trump is simultaneously the dumbest human being ever and the smartest, most evil supervillain of all time. They can't figure out which one. At the end of the day, I think that the most logical explanation here is that this was a part of the family business, and they used classified documents to enrich themselves, and they didn't pick up after themselves. Because Hunter Biden is a screw up. And Joe Biden didn't have the mental capacity to remember what was going on. That's kind of where I think this is headed.
I think I'm feeling my
Hunter
anti-lock
Biden lived in the house.
kicking in now.
He claimed the house was his
Well,
residence.
not the anti-lock, but I'm
classified documents are all over the house. Hunter Biden was careless with information about his business dealings in his personal life and his relationship with his father. We know that from numerous video posting, the laptop, everything else. Okay? My assumption is this was all about the family business, and Hunter Biden didn't cover his tracks. That's my assumption.
If you're in the chat, racing,
it's just pure guess. I think it's an educated guess.
If you're an alpha,
but I don't have definitive proof that that's what's going on.
You're lucky have fun.
But I think that is the most likely scenario to Joe Biden keeping classified documents at his house, spread all over the house. Maybe he did keep them at the house, and Hunter found them and started spreading them all over the house. Who knows? It's possible. But if you go back to just a couple of years ago, before the dementia really set in, Joe Biden was pretty careful with his documents. He made sure the documents that could damage him were locked away at the University of Delaware, and you couldn't get to it, right? Such as his sexual assault accusation. So he's been pretty careful with what he does with the documents that could expose him. The one person in the Biden family who has not been careful with those documents, Hunter. So if I had to guess, Hunter Biden is the reason that we're finding out about these documents now, because he screwed up. That's if I had to guess, which further amplifies the possibility that Hunter Biden and the big guy, which is Joe Biden, of course Joe's brother, which have been accused of crimes by the Ukrainian government.
And the throttle spring.
That the family business they were engaged in was absolutely compromising the Biden family and Joe Biden specifically with harmful foreign actors. I think this kind of just illustrates that point. The laptop illustrated it enough.
Shut up and drive.
The monetary payments, the jewel payments, the lavish payments from Chinese Communist Party, from Russian oligarchs, from the Kazakh mayor of the capital of Kazakhstan. You know, all of these things that we have in the Biden family business, they are very concerning. And one of the big concerning points is that, okay, this appears to be Joe Biden being compromised through his son because they were all involved in these business deals. And for the New York Times to come out there and go, oh, no, this is still a conspiracy theory is insane because we've got the two former business partners of Hunter saying very specifically that Joe Biden and his brother were involved in these business deals. And they named them with specificity. Let's not forget the Ukrainian government had as well. So the idea that there isn't any kind of proof here is just not true by the New York Times. The New York Times is going to circle their wagons when New York with that. But if you were to ask me what's going on here, I think Hunter Biden screwed up and is now exposed.
Oh, no! Don't do that!
MNC News time is 4:33. Time to check out Impress Jewelry Creations, creating meaningful jewelry.
Oh, come on, stupid! How about the automatic spring back to center? Can we have that, maybe? No, we can't do that. That's too, like, much what you should have. Holy crap. Alright, go forward. No. Catastrophic error. What did I do? I turned the wheel while I was braking. You can't do that with that car. That's not a rear-wheel drive car. It's a four-wheel drive car. It's like manic.
$20 million.
Fall back, Lee. Alright. Stay on the track, stupid.
Which was $10 million. So for $20 million, they can at least make a decent solution, right? Well, I told Henry when he was asking like what the feedback was on his interview.
Right
I was like, people actually like the statue.
So bad, but I can't.
You know, there's a rich history here, and it would make sense to have nice statues that kind of reflect that history. People actually did seem to really support that. I mean, depending on the cost and where it comes from and that sort of thing. But, you know, you could do it like Elkhart, because I think that
should they use rescue funds for the statue? That has to be something viable that
yeah, you could, but you could also do what Elkhart did with the elk, which is the business pays a fee, and the statue shows up on your property. So you basically are paying for it, rather than the taxpayer paying for it. So if you're a business and you want to host a statue, you can have a statue. And, you know, it's a public-private partnership, that sort of thing. I don't know how that whole program totally worked, but from what I understand, basically the business paid a fee and they got one of the elk.
Yeah, I did kind of like that. I like those videos.
They're all over the place, yeah. I mean, I like seeing them. But if you had, say, 10 statues to pick from, you could pick which one of the statues you would want on your property, and you could have all of these statues around there, and it could be, you know, yeah, some of it could be, you know, devoted to Black history. Not all of it has to be, but... And then just to ensure that there is a diversity of statues, have a limited number of statues that can be in a certain area. Because if Lou Holtz is in there, everybody's going to want a Lou Holtz statue. And you have Lou Holtz in every corner. probably don't want that, just for aesthetics. We know exactly what would happen.
That Ryan Kelly statue.
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Better than the wall.
I mean, you could have one, but you're going to have to allow the public to do what it wants to do with it.
Did he quit?
Yes, they will.
You dirtbag?
Yeah, I don't like the way that he did it. I can't blame him for chasing the money. I don't like the timing, and I don't like the way that he did it. That's the thing. It was like when Nick Saban left the Dolphins. I don't care that he left the Dolphins. I care that he left the Dolphins in the middle of the season and basically abandoned them.
right way and a wrong way to quit. The absolute right way to quit is the way that Lovey Smith did it. All right. You got a new doctor over there too, by the way. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to Stock 95 Capri, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Earlier today, I was at Warren Chiropractic, so I was talking with Dr. Warren and was being introduced to the new doctor who's coming on over there. And I told him, I said, look, center my back on the right-hand side, which is typically a problem spot for me anyway. I was like, it's really tight, it's really messed up, and he was feeling around. He knew the exact spot where it was a problem, and then he barely pushed on it. I kid you not, the thing just snapped, crackled, and popped, and then he did a lot more and was able to loosen things up. I've been struggling with that for about a week. I didn't go last week. I was supposed to go last week. I honestly forgot about it because the holiday schedule got messed up, and I've been, I don't want to say in pain, but I've been stiff. And so he was able to do the adjustment today and kind of get everything flowing again. I feel tons better. So here's the thing. If you have neck and back issues, if you don't go see a chiropractor, according to research, you are far more likely to go under the knife and have surgery. Whereas people who go to a chiropractor and get care of a chiropractor are far less likely to go under the knife and get surgery. Now, I suppose it depends on your situation, but I would much rather not have to go through surgery and all of the risks associated with neck and back surgery and just get treated at a chiropractor. If that is something that can happen and make you not have pain and feel better, then that would be the route that I would take. But it's a personal choice. So if you're looking to avoid surgery, avoid pain pills and the pitfalls that come with that, with your health and potential addiction angle and supply chain issues and everything else, contact Warren Chiropractic. Go to warrenchiro.com. Click on the new patient tab. Set up an appointment. Go get evaluated. You know, there may be a circumstance where they look at you and they go, here's what we can do for you, here's what we can. And you may need to talk to the doctor about surgery. But for me, I was having major neck issues. It went from me having a couple of days of pain from old neck injury a month to a solid week out of the month that I would hurt. And then it got to the point where it was half of the month or more I was in excruciating pain. It was affecting my sleep and everything else. I started having to go to the doctor and get injections once a quarter in the neck, which is never fun. I don't know how many of you had needles stuck in the back of your neck, but it's not pleasant. And, you know, I haven't had an injection since. We were actually talking about that today. I've not had a single injection in my neck since I started going to Warren Chiropractic. And I count that as a win. Go to warrenchiro.com, click on the new patient tab again, let them know that I sent you. I ran into this article today. This is at Breitbart. John Nolte wrote it. Really good title. Unlike Trump's, Biden's classified document scandal is real. And that's true. It is real. We've been over all of this. There's still a bunch of leftists out there who just will not acknowledge the fact of classified information and what former presidents go through. I've had to defend Obama, I've had to defend Bush, I've had to defend Trump on this. The reality of the situation is an outgoing commander-in-chief can take their files with them, classified or not. They're theirs. They don't belong to you, they don't belong to me, they don't belong to the archives, they belong to them. Now, generally speaking, the archives likes having those copies. So the archives all the way, without fail, every administration pitches a fit if they don't get copies of these documents. They like to have the originals because the archives likes to display the original documents when they're available for display in the future, that sort of thing. They don't want to copy, okay? So with Obama kept them for, I think, 6 years, the classified documents that the archives were pitching a fit over. And his excuse was, yeah, we're just going to make digital copies of these for my library, and then we'll give you the originals back. It took like 6 years or something like that to finish that so-called digitizing phase. You know, whether or not that it actually took that long doesn't really matter. They were his documents to do with as he saw fit. He was the president of the United States. He can classify them. He can have those documents. Those are from his time as president. They're his documents. Same thing with Bush. Same thing with Bush Sr. Same thing with Reagan. Same thing with Clinton. Get the idea? Classified documents from a former commander-in-chief belong to them. And they can declassify whatever they want. It's a part of their record. And if they choose to take those things out of Washington, D.C. with them, they're automatically declassified. It really is that simple. I've been over how this works with you all the time. Not all the time, but several times before. And it is something that is constantly being... Well, really, what ends up happening is the average person who gets classified clearance, there's hoops you have to go through to handle those documents. And there's clearance levels that you have to have. And as somebody who has had, at least at one point in my career, a clearance, it's very different than when you're the guy who's at the very top. See, the President of the United States doesn't answer to anybody. If Joe Biden left office today and took all of the documents that were his, that were classified with him today, Joe Biden hasn't broken any laws. Why? Because he's the commander-in-chief. Those are his documents. Joe Biden is the vice president, has no authority to do any of that. There wasn't an issue with Trump's documents. Those documents were not illegal. They were not harmful. He was working with the archives in spite of all of these stories that we're hearing about. Biden's working with the archives and Trump was combative with the archives. First of all, it wouldn't matter if he was combative with the archives, but beyond that, it was a lie. They were working with the archives on which documents to secure, which ones to not secure. They were in a SCIF. They were protected by not only his private security, but the Secret Service 24/7. You get the idea. There are still people out there who cannot understand this or are choosing to lie to you in order to conflate the issue. But at the end of the day, when I tell you whatever they accuse the right of doing, they themselves are doing, I mean it. How many examples do we have where I've been proven wrong on that? There's a lot where I've been proven right. I don't recall a single instance where I was proven wrong. So they go after Trump for classified documents. Well, guess what? Obama did the same thing. Biden did the same thing, only Biden was actually committing a crime. Look at pay for play, right? Trump didn't do that, Biden did. You look at the tax situation. Trump didn't do it, Biden did. You start playing this game all day, every day. So anyway, this is the article from Breitbart. Former President Donald Trump is embroiled in another deep state frame-up job, this time over classified documents. Meanwhile, his fraudulency, Joe Biden, love that term, by the way, is dealing with a legitimate classified document scandal. Before we go any further, I find all this classified document hand-wringing silly, speaking objectively outside the tit-for-tat partisan politics. Everyone knows America goes overboard with the big red classified stamp, which is true. This is a well-known fact. We classify way too many things, and it's been a source of consternation for transparency advocates for decades now. Stamping something classified has to feel pretty cool. Reading something stamped classified must feel even cooler. So why not stamp your way to that warm and fuzzy feeling of self-importance? Plus, by stamping everything classified, the deep state can frame people for invented crimes, embarrass them politically, and meddle in elections. And we all know how much the FBI, NSA, CIA, and Homeland Security love to frame people to protect the Democrat Party. Do you remember when they tried telling you that Russia hacked the DNC server? Are there still like a couple of you out there
Stream
still
element
believe that
spot
really
running
happened?
emoji robot. Skipping
This
some
is where my
comments.
expertise as
Did
a
you
network
get the
systems
steering
administrator
wheel
kinda came
yet?
in. I was able to
And
look at the
loading.
software. I
Don't
was able to
crash
look at how
date.
they alleged it happened, and I
URL
was able to tell you
GT5 more
none of
way
this passes the
64.
smell test.
Have a good night, Dave.
And then you
Right,
had
we're
some
away.
Stream element
Democrats and
spot running
Republicans in the
emoji
Senate
robot.
See you on the track,
who were like,
man.
no, Russia totally hacked the DNC server. And collectively, the American people and the news media, who was doing their job at the time, said, all right, we'll prove it. And then they provided some evidence. Well, the evidence was, pardon my French, crap. It was as crappy as the new MLK statue in Boston. It was that bad. The evidence that they presented as proof that the Russians hacked the DNC server actually proved the Russians did not hack the DNC server. I explained all of that at the time. One of the key factors of that was the software used to hack the server was several generations old and was not the latest updated software. And we all know that the Russian government uses the latest updated software. They don't use old stuff that is likely to get caught. Okay, that's it. And the Russians, when they hack, they're good at it. The Chinese, when they hack, they're good at it. The Iranians, less so. But they still tend to not use things that are multiple generations of software old, okay? But that's what happened with the DNC server. So then what happened is, as the entire news media and the entire cybersecurity industrial complex came out and said, this actually proves the Russians did not hack the DNC server. It was likely just some people doing some nefarious stuff. This doesn't appear to be a government activity. So do you remember what happened after that? John McCain and several of the politicians in the Senate on the Intelligence Committee got together and had a closed-door classified briefing. And then John McCain came out, rest his soul, John McCain came out and said, after the classified briefing, I can pinky promise, swear to you, they gave us enough evidence to prove the Russians were behind the hack. You told us that last time when you gave us the evidence that the Russians did hack the DNC server. So what they did is they basically just said, we're going to have a secret classified briefing on this, and when we come out, you're just going to have to trust us that Russia hacked the DNC server because we have the ability to see classified documents. You don't, peasants. That's kind of what is being illustrated here in Nolte's article. Feels good to read and stamp things as classified because then you can frame the argument any way you want. And when somebody asks you for proof, you just go, well, we can't show you proof. It's classified. Adam Schiff did the same thing when he lied about Trump-Russia collusion. He said that he saw classified documents which proved that Trump was working with Russia. Only he lied. But how did you know that he was lying? Because you don't have access to the information. All he has to do is go, well, you don't have clearance. I have clearance. More on this in just a sec. Coming up, Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
My pillow, my pillow, my pillow.
Alrighty.
Go.
There's a bathrobe closeout, John.
A bathrobe closeout?
Yup.
I've never owned a bathrobe.
Well, you can get a lightweight and a heavyweight bathrobe for as low as $59.98.
$60 for
Have you ever had a
bathrobe?
bathrobe?
Yeah.
When I was a child.
But my mom.
Oh, yeah, I think maybe when I was a kid I did have one.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had one. I don't think I've ever had a robe as an adult.
No, get your butt back up where you belong, man. Gee whiz.
My kids love robes. I kind of see robes as a kid thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to me it's like something you wear when you're in between things. And it's a very short period of time in my life, so it seems like it would take a lot of time to put on a robe and then take it off and put on something else.
Well, this is it. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna wear a robe, your next venture has to be not wearing anything at all. So I guess if you're coming from the shower and you're gonna go to bed and you sleep naked, wear a robe. But yeah, I don't really get the robe thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and Hunter claimed to pay like $49,000 in rent. Claimed. Yep, CrowdStrike is a leftist company, but more to the point, CrowdStrike has admitted that Russia did not hack the DNC server. Yeah, they had to fill out a visitor log to eat at a restaurant, but not Joe Biden's house. Mads thinks this is a distraction from something else going on. Maybe. Could be.
News until 3 on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
I was just explaining to John that MyPillow.com is having a bathrobe closeout sale. Lightweight and heavyweight bathrobes. I don't wear them, but if I were interested in making my neighbors uncomfortable, I might get a bathrobe from MyPillow.com. They're as low as $59.98 right now with promo code Casey. So if you're interested in a bathrobe, MyPillow.com, promo code Casey. They also have the sheets that are on sale right now, so regardless of which type of sheet you're looking for, you can get bed sheets. This is the biggest bed sheet sale ever for as low as $29.98. That includes the Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, and I challenge you to find Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, or I guess they're not called Dream Sheets everywhere else. I challenge you to find Giza Cotton Sheets anywhere for $30. But you can get them at MyPillow.com for as low as $29.98 with promo code Casey. Go check them out online, MyPillow.com. Click on Radio Listener Specials, promo code Casey. All right, so the reason I'm bringing up the DNC server and the reason that I'm tying that in with this article by Nolte at Breitbart is that you were told by politicians who have access to see classified information after it had been proven that they were not telling the truth about Russia hacking the DNC server. The proof that they provided to the public proved that Russia didn't hack the DNC server. Then they decided to get together and go, look, we have classified clearance, the general public doesn't. Let's have a closed-door meeting, eat some pizza, talk about who we're rooting for in the ball game, and then we're going to emerge from that meeting and a pinky promise, swear to everybody that our classified clearance gave us all of the information that we needed to prove that Russia hacked the DNC server. Now, CrowdStrike, which is the firm that manipulated the data to make it look like the Russians hacked the DNC server, never provided any actual forensic evidence to the FBI or anybody else. The FBI never actually got a hold of the DNC server. You realize that CrowdStrike just a couple of years ago admitted that Russia never hacked that DNC server. I think the only media show in the country that I'm aware of, on terrestrial radio anyway, because I know some streamers did, who covered the story where the guy who heads up CrowdStrike was forced to finally admit Russia never hacked the DNC server. They lied. Is he in jail for that? Is he in prison for that? No. Just so you're aware, Russia never hacked the DNC server. It was a lie. It was a setup by the Hillary Clinton campaign, and it was corroborated by senators on the Intelligence Committee who lied to you about their classified access that proved that Russia did it. Just like Adam Schiff lied to you using his classified access to tell you that Trump was colluding with Russia. They were all lies. So when you start seeing classified this, classified that, oftentimes it is a way to cover up a conspiracy, or it's just a way to lie to the American people. It's very important that you understand that. It's been well documented that, yes, we over-classify stuff in this country. We say things are classified when they're not really worthy of being classified, etc. It's all tied in with this Biden. You know, the fact that Hunter Biden had access to these documents and lived in that house at the time these documents were there should concern you, because we do have various levels of classified documents that have been uncovered. And we're the fourth example of that now. Trump's role sorted a SCIF. A SCIF is designed for classified documents. It was protected by the Secret Service. He had a legal right to those documents. Joe Biden didn't have any of that. And the fact that Joe Biden's documents are scattered all over the place, his former office in D.C., well, I guess it was actually the University of Pennsylvania, maybe it wasn't in D.C., his garage, his library at his house, then you've got the new set of documents that were found over the weekend. You know, these are things that you're not supposed to have, and he's not supposed to have. So in this article, which again is just, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, as Nolte is pointing out, if you're going to look at the classified document situation, the first thing he acknowledges is that, look, we overclassify things, and just because it's classified doesn't necessarily mean it's critical stuff. Some of the classification levels here are concerning. We don't know what's in that information, nor should we know what's in that information. We're not allowed clearance. But at the same time, Trump's information he was allowed to have.
Oh, dang it!
It's all over the place. At multiple properties is also of huge concern. The real question is Joe Biden responsible? Well, he's also responsible. Is Joe Biden the guy who's doing it, or was he providing Hunter Biden access that he should have been able to have since Hunter Biden's account working? All right, I'm going to play some music, folks. I'll be back here in just a couple minutes.
Very, very sloppy. Very sloppy. Alright. I'll work through it. Figure out what I'm doing right. Keep doing that. Do it better. My braking is becoming an issue. I think I need to go back to my springs. But let me hurry up and do that, actually. I'm going to jump on and let me toss my springs back on there. Oh, I probably don't need to do this much. Oh, give me the controller. All right, hurry up. Let's go. Oh, watch out, baby. Come on, move. Go ahead. All right, come here. Come here, Garfield. Come here. Come here, Garfield. Oh, come here. Garfield, come here. Come here. Pepper. Come here. Come here. Hi, Garfield. Hi, buddy. Come over here where people can see you. Come here, Garfield. The people see you. Really? Yeah, that's way too tight, man. It's all bound up. What the crap? Alright. Let's hurry up.
During his paternity leave, he was refusing meetings with both Republicans and Democrats. So they were telling us that he was working tirelessly from home. Yet now we have multiple Republicans and Democrats were trying to get meetings with him to resolve the shipping container issue, and he was refusing those meetings. So, shocker.
Wow.
I shouldn't say shocker in light of the Penn State professors. Hey, Goose, you got me up on your TV? Sweet. Well, hopefully the way that I'm doing the video thing now will lead to a Roku channel. I've been talking to a Roku channel for a couple of years. But
Oops, hurry up.
Really, it kind of comes down to
Hurry up.
me not having the time.
Hurry up.
Hurry up. That's what it comes down to.
Hurry up. Oh my gosh. No, what are you doing?
Do not forget
Go
about
down.
Imran Awan, too. About
Come on, stupid, get off. Oh, what are you doing? Come on, man. Oh, crying out loud. Come on, Wheel. Get in there.
Odyssey, make sure you hit
Well,
that
just keep
subscribe
me
button
there, you know?
join
Just
us.
keep us there.
I'm a little...
Oh my gosh.
I'm a little stoic today. I'll admit that. There we go.
3 minutes. Alright, so got the red spring, putting a red spacer with a washer, with, alright, black spring.
If you are a content creator or you know somebody who is a content creator
Okay.
videos to any platform, I'm going to have an interesting opportunity for you here in the near future. And I'm going to want to have that contact information. I will create a way for you to submit that to me here soon. So I just want you to be aware. So if you've got a kid, grandkid, you yourself, somebody you know who uploads video content on the internet and you're from the area, I'm going to have an interesting opportunity for you here in the near future. All right, let's take a look at a couple of stories here, and then we're going to get into a video that I saw over the weekend. It's
All right,
gone
so we're
viral.
going to put on black one in the middle.
It's awful and terrific.
Not a big, thick red
involving
one.
this
We're going to
plane
put on black
crash.
one.
But I want to get into it because I think that well, I mean, it's a compelling story. It's harrowing, but it's still compelling. The first thing is Representative Thomas Massey has actually introduced legislation that would end the CDC's air travel vaccine mandates. That's been introduced. Like I said, a lot of these things are not going to pass because they're not going to pass in the Senate, and they wouldn't be signed by Joe Biden anyway. But he did introduce it. A group of House Republicans want to consign this mandate to the dustbin. Representative Thomas Massey, a Kentucky Republican, introduced legislation that would override the CDC's requirement and prohibit a similar requirement from being re-implemented. His legislation is co-sponsored by Republican Representatives Mary Miller, Ralph Norman, Scott Perry, Bill Posey, Greg Steube, Brian Mast, and Michael Cloud. So keep an eye on that. We will continue to cover that. CNN has closed.
Oh my gosh, I can't pee in a minute. Like crap. Alright, that's fine.
Their headquarters in Atlanta.
It's fine.
I realize there's probably a lot of you out there who don't think that is a big deal. That is a very big deal.
I gotta go pee.
CNN's headquarters in Atlanta is...
I can't do it.
I mean, it's considered, you know, one of the best headquarters in all of media. They closed it. Now, obviously, they're dealing with financial troubles. They're moving into the suburbs, according to the Washington Examiner. The news comes as the network faces flagging ratings and deepening financial troubles, despite its recent hire of Rhino ex-representative Adam Kinzinger as a political consultant. Have they gotten rid of Wallace yet over there? Or is he still sticking around? He's still there somewhere? Is he doing anything? I haven't seen Wallace do anything. He has a Sunday night show? I haven't seen a clip from the Sunday. Wow. Gosh, he's obscure. For at least 3 years, rumors have swirled that the network, founded in 1978 by media mogul Ted Turner, might try to unload its flagship former headquarters. CNN previously announced that it would leave the old CNN Center in search of greener pastures at the Warner Brothers Discovery Techwood Turner Broadcasting campus north of the city. So they have done that. So the big main CNN headquarters that everybody knows closed. Next thing, we have this video here, and I'm just going to give you a warning. I don't recommend you go watch it. It's not what I would call overly graphic in that you don't actually see anybody perish, but you're watching an airplane crash from inside the airplane, and nobody survived. You hear it. You see the flames engulfing the cabin. So if you're squeamish, I recommend you don't watch it. If you are not squeamish, you know, you kind of understand what you're getting. You're watching everybody on this plane die. I'm going to butcher these names, and I apologize about that. This video went viral over the weekend. A passenger that was on this plane that crashed in Nepal was live streaming on the internet when it crashed. There is video of the plane from the ground as it crashed. So the plane was coming into land, everything looked fine, and then all of a sudden it veered left, took a nosedive into the ground, and everybody's dead. It's a horrible tragedy. All 72 passengers have been lost. So you can see the plane crash from the ground. What makes this so different is that it is one of the passengers recording, thinking that they're just recording. And then, you know, they're smiling, they're laughing, everything is fine, and then all of a sudden, in a split second, everybody's gone. But the camera records the entire thing. It is live streamed to the world. You catch the chaos, you hear the plane crash, and you witness the absolute inferno that happens inside where everybody is afterwards. Somehow, miraculously, the camera on the phone, when it finally comes to its resting place, does not show any human being losing their life. And I don't know how that happened.
Stream element spot running emoji robot. Skipping some comments. Did you get the steering wheel yet? Hello Dave. Don T crash Dave. URL GT5 Moreway 64. Have a good night Dave. Stream element spot running emoji robot.
Again, I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. He and 3 friends were making a pilgrimage to a Hindu temple in Nepal when their plane's engine caught fire, leading to the crash. Reportedly, he's killed all 72 aboard. When the video was first posted, you can still hear people alive, and the assumption when the video went out there is maybe he survived. But also when you see the flames involved, you also, if you understand fire, I guess, you understand that the likelihood of anybody surviving that is very, very low. And he did not survive. According to the BBC and his family, he live streamed his last moments on Facebook. And again, you don't specifically see anybody in frame lose their life, but you are watching it happen. Okay? So it's available for the entire world to see. This has always been kind of one of those things that I wondered what it looked like on the inside of a plane crash. I think a lot of people who fly probably had that curiosity. I would say that it's probably one of the worst videos that I've seen involving fire since I watched the wildfire firefighters. I believe they were in South or no, I think they might have been in the United States. No, they were in Argentina. There was a wildfire in South America. I'm pretty sure it was Argentina several years ago, and they had cameras on. They were, of course, filming as they were working. It was standard procedure for them to do it, and they got caught behind the wall of fire that was coming, and they were trying to dig in. And there's a technique that you do to dig into the ground, and the fire kind of goes over you. Use a blanket to shield yourself from the flames, and you hope that you survive. And they were in that point where they were desperate. They were surrounded. They were desperately trying to dig in. In that footage, unfortunately, it captures the firefighter he was with burning alive and running for his life, but not ultimately able to do it. And they all passed away. This is the worst thing that I've seen involving fire since then. And I don't recommend you watch either one of them if you don't have the stomach for it. But if this is something that interests you, obviously, just for curiosity's sake, it's a terrible video to watch. So the 4 men were all in their 20s or early 30s. They had been friends for many years. They often spent time together. Locals say that they had gone to Nepal on the 13th of January to visit a temple there. There's apparently a shrine on the outskirts of Kathmandu that they were going to visit. And the trip was reportedly Jaiswal's idea, and he's a father of 3. He wanted to pray at the temple for another son. After visiting the temple, the friends set off on Sunday, and they did a whole tourist thing, and they documented all of it. And he was documenting the plane landing, and like I said, he was coming in for a landing, then all of a sudden he just tipped over to the left wing went down, and it just veered right into the ground, and everybody was lost. So the 4 men were among 5 Indians on board. Officials said 53 of the passengers were Nepalese, along with 4 Russians, 2 Koreans. Others on board are reported to have included 1 passenger each from Ireland, Australia, Argentina, and France. So again, there's footage from the ground where you can see what happened to the plane from our perspective, but then the video that he was live streaming as they were landing is the one that you see inside the cabin. And shortly after the crash happens and the flames engulf, the feed stops. I assume the phone was destroyed at that point. So wish the best for all of the families. It's a horrible tragedy, but nonetheless very compelling video kind of highlighting what happened. Speaking of transportation, though, we've also learned some interesting things about Pete Buttigieg that we didn't know before, coming up on Newstalk 95.3 Michigan's News Channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
Balance of nature. Balance of nature.
Balance of nature.
I don't think I have any fan rules this week either, so this week should be easy on that. Hour 3.
What are you doing to me, Sony? The servers are lagging, man. Alright, here we go.
Yeah, if you're scared to fly, don't watch this. This is going to give you nightmares. You do not want to see it. Alright. Both videos are there, but Chicago Boss, they're always in the Daily Show Prep. Yeah, like I said, if you're scared to fly, do not watch this. It's not a good video to watch.
York, I know you want to go to bed. I get it.
Yeah, the plane crash was in Nepal. The person who's recording was Indian. And just because I know it's going to come up, no, I don't think that him live streaming is what caused an issue with the aircraft. Yeah, there's a near plane crash at JFK today. You saw that, right? There's a near miss at JFK today.
I think it was Friday.
Was it Friday?
Yeah. Near miss.
Yeah, they're going over animations of it, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely Friday.
I don't know. Ford makes some vehicles for the military, and they do airdrop. Just saying. You know what's weird is I was never nervous to fly, and the older I get, the more nervous I am to fly. And I've never been nervous to fly.
Two laps. Let's go. Hurry up.
But the older I get, the more I'm like, I'm gonna probably die here. And I don't know why that is.
lap there. Dang it.
Over there on Odyssey.
Guy on National. And, well, we learned some things about Pete Buttigieg. Is out there who don't think that that is a big deal. That is a very big deal. CNN's headquarters in Atlanta is, I mean, it's considered, you know, one of the best headquarters in all of media. They closed it. A video, somebody you know who uploads video content on the point. No prospective dates or times were offered, however, and Secretary.
It was Friday. Okay.
Canada's morning news on 95.3 MNC, your breaking news and weather station.
Now, most of you know I've been kind of pigeonholed as the Buttigieg guy on national media. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it did come up again with things about Pete Buttigieg that we didn't learn before, which calls into question some of the statements that Pete Buttigieg has made in the past about his work ethic. Now, I went over a big list when we were dealing with the supply chain container issue and the ports. And there's a bunch of stuff that should have been dealt with that the transportation secretary would be the point guy in dealing with. And Pete Buttigieg did not make any of those meetings, did not do any of those things. And that was, in my opinion, he was derelict in his duties. Now, he can argue paternity leave all he wants. And most of you know I'm a supporter of paternity leave. I do believe that fathers should be able to take time off. I don't think that that is a unique mother thing. I think that dads should be able to do the thing as well. And so I don't have an issue with paternity leave. However, when you have an important position and you have critical systems that are reliant upon you, even if you're on paternity leave, you're working. And for the record, this is why men typically make more than women, because this is the standard protocol for men operating in our society. When there is an emergency and you have an important job, you still go to work even when you're not at work. It's one of the reasons why when there's big breaking news, even if I'm on vacation, I'm still posting about it. Why? Because it's still part of my job. I could ignore it if I really wanted to, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to abandon my audience that way. Pete Buttigieg has a job that is critical for our society. And when he took paternity leave and there's an emergency, you expect the transportation secretary to do certain things when he can to alleviate that problem. And if that means working at 9 or 10 o'clock at night after the babies are in bed and your spouse is in bed or what have you, then that's what you do. Why? Because that's what men do, generally speaking, throughout all of human history. If you cannot work during the day because of family things, I respect that. But when family goes down for sleep, you now go to work. Why? Because there's an emergency. And then you wake up early the next day and you do that work before they get up. That's what fathers have been doing since the beginning of time. Pete didn't do that. Now, what they started telling you is, Pete's been engaged. Pete's been having these meetings every single day. Pete's been doing this. Pete's been doing that. He's really not been on paternity leave. He's been working the entire time. Oh. Okay, well, according to a watchdog, Pete Buttigieg refused multiple meetings with Democrats and Republicans during his paternity leave during that crisis. Oh, wow. Okay. Then, like Brian Kilmeade and I were talking about, maybe you shouldn't have the job. It's okay if your lifestyle, and I don't mean that in his sexual orientation, in family members, that's okay if your lifestyle does not permit you to have a job like this. There are human beings that don't want to work these kind of hours. They would much rather have a home life. That's okay. There are human beings who are workaholics, and the home life is a secondary to their career. That's okay too. There are pluses and minuses to all of it. And then, of course, you got the people who are just trying to find that balance in between. Okay, those are the folks who are probably never going to seek management, probably never going to open a business. There's nothing wrong with that. You're basically figuring out your time versus money. When people say time is money, they don't mean you have to spend time to make money necessarily, but that's what the trade-off is. If you want to make a lot of money, you're going to have to devote a lot of your time to making money. And if you're devoting a lot of your time to making money, that is time that you do not have for recreation or family. If you're going to devote your time to family, that is great too, but guess what? You're probably not going to make a lot of money. Most people try to find a balance, and that balance for most folks is 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And there's nothing wrong with any of those decisions. If you choose to prioritize family and not work, most of the time it's women who make that decision. Not all the time, but most of the time. And that's great. That is a beautiful thing. Oftentimes, if you're going to prioritize money, sometimes because your spouse is prioritizing family, you're going to go to work and you're going to work extra hours to make sure that there's enough money for the other spouse to prioritize family. There's nothing wrong with that either. Except most people are kind of in between. You want to go ahead and have that work-home life balance. He chose family. Nothing wrong with that, except he has a critical infrastructure job. If you have critical jobs, you oftentimes can't prioritize family. If you have a critical job, that job must be your priority. And it is okay if you don't want to have a job that has to be prioritized over family. That is fine, but you need to leave the job. You can't keep that position and prioritize family because everything gets screwed up. So if Pete Buttigieg goes out there and is telling everybody that he's still working every single day and taking meetings every single day, and then we find out through a watchdog that he was turning down meetings left and right from Republicans and Democrats, we got a problem. We got a guy that we know isn't doing his job, and we have a guy who didn't make himself available to do his job when he could have found time here and there. And I get it, emergencies happen, things happen, and you gotta juggle things sometimes. We're talking about a multi-year fiasco of somebody who hasn't shown up when he needed to, and he has a critical job at a critical time. In a normal world that isn't having COVID and a war and everything else that's kind of screwing everything up, in a normal world, Pete Buttigieg phoning it in would be adequate for Transportation Secretary. It is not adequate now. Here we go. December 15th, 2020, Adam Wren. So what exactly are Buttigieg's qualifications to run the Department of Transportation? Luckily, writer Adam Wren, who did an extensive profile of Buttigieg in 2018, has the answer. Fun fact, one of Pete Buttigieg's favorite board games is Ticket to Ride, a game that involves collecting trains and claiming rail routes through states across the United States. Cool. John, I'm undefeated in Risk. I should be the only 5-star general that the United States has. You ever go on a date with somebody and ask them what they do, and she looks at you and she goes, I'm an Instagram model. Okay. If you play a lot of Call of Duty, are you a soldier? Probably not. Unless she's making a lot of money being an Instagram model, her job is not Instagram model. She's unemployed. Nothing wrong with being unemployed as long as you provide for yourself. You have to question how she's providing for herself. But I don't know any guy who's going to go out there and go, I'm a soldier in Call of Duty. That's my job. Unless, of course, he's a professional Call of Duty player and he happens to make a lot of money playing Call of Duty. And guess what? His job is, I'm a professional gamer. That's what I do. You can play these games all you want. Okay, so Pete Buttigieg likes a board game about trains. So what? That isn't a qualification. We all know that, and that's why everything is so screwed up. He told Jake Tapper in October on CNN that he was available at any time, even if it meant taking phone calls in the hospital. Problem is that that's not the case. According to this latest watchdog report, he turned down several meetings with Republicans and Democrats to deal with the crisis. Because, again, he was dealing with family stuff, which, okay, you're dealing with family stuff, that's fine. But you know what? It's time to tell everybody that this ain't the job for me right now. It would have been if I wasn't having this. Maybe in the future I can take this position again, but right now, I need to focus on my family. This isn't the position. And that is a decision that he has been unwilling to make, and we have been paying for it as a country ever since. MNC News Time is 5:31. Time to check out Impress Jewelry Creations, creating meaningful jewelry for moments that last a lifetime.
This is Michigan. Are you still doing Balance of Nature?
Balance of Nature is the one. I couldn't remember what it was. Balance of Nature. See, Dennis was Space Force before Space Force existed in the 1980s. One of my favorite memes is like when you ask her what she does for a living, she says she's an Instagram model, and then you say I'm a soldier in Call of Duty as your job. I love that meme. Two completely clueless people. You were good at Falcon Force, you're an F-16 pilot? Yeah. I'm a Civil War general, too. You know how many times I fought that? Unless you're making money at it, that ain't your job. We've had 5-star generals, but we don't have any 5-star generals now. So I should qualify. Oh yeah, we've all been Space Shuttle door gunner. Heck yeah. I'm also a race car driver who's won Le Mans several times too. Titus challenges me to a game of Risk. You got it. Now, technically, I have lost video game Risk games, but never the board game. Although my pool of players that were willing to play with me were not very good. IG model is a synonym for high-class worker. I don't know that I go that far, but maybe. And I do know some people who, they do other things, but a part of doing other things, maybe they look nice, and so they do Instagram photo shoots as well. But that's not their primary gig.
Whatever.
Yeah, high class, exactly, it is. High class. It's on. Do they even make, travel Risk games? That'd be funny. I would say that Instagram models who do not have an OnlyFans are higher class than OnlyFans. That's what I would say. You've seen a lot of movies here.
Hello. We got 2 guys watching, 2 ladies watching, perhaps.
I used to write actual
welcome to the
film
channel.
reviews back in the day.
If you don't mind, please drop a like and maybe subscribe.
Yeah, there's a few on OnlyFans who make a lot of money. I think like the average that somebody will make is like 10 or 12 bucks a month or something like that. You don't make money. That average seems a little bit low. It might be like 100 or something, but I have to pull it up. I had that number a few weeks ago when I mentioned it. So the average person who posts photos of themselves on Instagram or OnlyFans is going to make no money, and they're going to be exposing themselves to all the potential horribleness that happens. Well, it used to be that you were 4-star, and then you could only be 5-star if you commanded in theater during a war. I think they've changed that.
Commercial electrical done right. Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. I don't know. Maybe Pete just didn't. Maybe he didn't have enough energy to do the job and do the family thing. Maybe he needed balance of nature this entire time to help him focus, help him have the energy to get through the day. If he didn't take balance of nature, it's entirely possible he just did not have the get up and go to do the job. Don't let that happen to you. Go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Laura, LAURA,
Wait.
and you'll save 35%. You go to balanceofnature.com. Do yourself a favor. Just get one set of the fruits and veggies. Take them for the month, as you're supposed to. Okay, take them as you're supposed to.
Pepper makes an appearance. You
And
gotta
just see
donate.
how you
There's a
feel.
link above. I don't care if
Feel
it's
free to write me. I've
$1.
had several
Come
people
on,
write me
Pepper.
about how
Come
great
here.
they feel with Balance of Nature.
Come here.
We've all kind of
Every little
laughed and
dollar
giggled
helps.
about my
Come
own
here,
producer,
Pepper.
Josh,
Come here,
and every
baby.
now and then when he
When
comes into
Pepper
the
makes an
studio,
appearance,
I'll
you
just
gotta
literally have to be line
donate.
for
That's the
fruits,
rules.
because
Hi,
it's,
baby.
for
Oh,
him,
she's
it
such
gives
a baby
him
girl.
a ton of energy.
Hi, baby girl.
He gets a great
How
benefit.
can you resist that face?
But you got to boost your immune system, get your vitamins, get your minerals. These are real food here. This is
good girl.
flash frozen, ground up, put it in a capsule form. You don't have to mix it and try and drink it or choke it down. You just take
Good
the
girl,
pills and that's it. You
Pepper.
have your
Please
fruits and veggies
use the
for
link
entire
above
day.
and donate. I need a new wheel. My T500 is dying. It's 12 years old.
All right, so let's go over
And
the
I really want to take the next
couple
step
people are
up
like, where did
in
you
my
get this
YouTube
information on
channel.
Buttigieg?
And I really need the equipment
All right, so there
upgrade. So
was
I
a
would definitely
FOIA
appreciate it
lawsuit
if you could donate. Thank
that
you.
is in the works here.
Watch out, baby. All right, let's go.
Pete Buttigieg denied a
Okay,
request
I
by
gotta
Senator Chuck
drive.
Grassley, Republican of Iowa, for a phone call
Pepper, stop.
during his paternity leave. Documents obtained by PPT in a FOIA lawsuit with the Department of Transportation tell a much different story. And this is about Pete being available 24/7 for
Pepper, stop,
any
please.
interview or any call that he needed. Contrary to the Secretary's explicit
Yeah,
claims about
bite me.
taking phone calls,
All right, if Pepper bites me, you
DOT
gotta
blocked
donate 50
a
bucks.
request by Senator Chuck Grassley
That's
for
the
a phone
deal. If
conversation
she bites, you gotta
with the
donate 50
Secretary
bucks.
during his paternity leave. While the supply chain crisis was raging, the Senator sought to discuss resolution of an issue involving a massive $1.2 billion bridge project that was nearing completion.
Daddy.
Secretary Buttigieg's office spurned the senator's appeal for a call by stating, quote, "Unfortunately, the secretary is currently on leave due to the birth of his twins," and suggesting that perhaps we can aim for a meeting when the secretary returns from his leave. Records show that the secretary had been on leave for nearly 6 weeks at this point. No prospective dates or times were offered, however, and Secretary Buttigieg's calendar reveals that he did not return from his paternity leave until weeks after Senator Grassley's request. About the lack of formal delegation of Secretary of Transportation's duties while he was on leave is another concern. They ended up finding out that not only was Pete Buttigieg not at work, there was no appropriate delegation of his duties to other people so they could handle his job while he was gone. Quote, "The lack of a formal delegation of the Secretary's authority also appeared to cause some havoc. Although the department regulations assign authority to the deputy secretary to take some actions, they leave authority for other tasks and responsibilities unclear. As a result, the secretary's leave evidently created turmoil within the department. In one incident, about a week after his leave began, attorneys across the department were forced to engage in a frantic conversation beginning on a Friday night and continuing through the weekend to resolve an issue of delegation of authority around a large loan program. Another heavily redacted conversation showed Department of Transportation attorneys were forced to determine the status of authority within the department to make legally mandated reports to Congress. None of this was done. And Pete Buttigieg wasn't at work, making sure that it all got finished. Nor did he delegate his authority appropriately to make sure that it could get done. Instead of handling the chaos caused by the supply chain debacle, Buttigieg was creating more chaos in his own department. The director of PPT, Michael Chamberlain, released a statement. As a father myself, I understand that being a parent is the most important job in the world.
Yeah, I'm double shifted.
He's the director of Protect the Public's Trust. But the Secretary of Transportation's obligations to the American public are 24/7. As Secretary Buttigieg has admitted, it appears as though during his paternity leave he was not always available when called upon and did not have some necessary contingencies in place to ensure the continuity of operations at the Department of Transportation. Perhaps it is not a coincidence that so many crises involving the department, from the supply chain breakdown to the FAA system outage, that grounded flights all over the country have occurred on his watch. So, again, anybody locally who boosted this guy, you knew what you were doing. You knew you were sending somebody who's unqualified to D.C. This was no more coming up. News Talk 95, Michiana's
Casey Hendrickson. Back to Pete one.
Yeah, like all of a sudden it got smoky in here.
Oh, alright. Here we go. Probably gotta make this my last race. I gotta go to bed. It's almost 3. It was almost 2 a little while ago. Alright, here we go. Forward. Be a good race, gentlemen. Good, clean race.
So Al on Discord posted, back in my day, there was so much toilet paper and eggs that we would throw them on the houses of our enemies.
Yep.
It's funny. Yeah, if you're going to call yourself an Instagram model, you better be pulling in 6 figures and able to live off of the money that you make on Instagram. There's a lot of people who make no money on social media at all who call themselves influencers. It drives me absolutely nuts. I mean, it's been a thing for years. It was a big deal on Yelp for a long time, too. I'm a Yelp influencer. Give me free food.
Okay.
No, not going to do that. Now, if you're making lots of money as an influencer, okay, we can have that conversation. But vast majority of people are not doing that. Get in there.
Well, I'm not as far as I can go.
So how often are they down here?
You know, I honestly don't know. Stick.
God dang, something gets sprayed or something?
It's like half hour.
Yeah. It came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's like smoke or something, but there isn't. I wonder if it's something got sprayed.
Great pass. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're all being boomed. It's taking us out.
Stream element spot running. MOG
Yeah, that school
robot.
teacher is making 7
Put in
times
some
more
comments.
on OnlyFans
Did
now
you
than she
get the
was
steering
as a
wheel
teacher.
yet?
She was making like 53.
Well, I have
MOD.
not got my new wheel yet.
Dante crash date.
Hopefully I'll have it in a
New
month.
RL GT5 more way
Hey,
6
good
4.
afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. News Talk
Have a good night,
95.3, Michiana's news
Stream
channel.
element
Let me
spot
ask you a
running.
couple questions.
robot.
Do you do you dread drinking the water out of the tap in your house? Is it gonna taste bad, smell bad, whether it's chlorine or something else? You look at the water, have floaties in it and stuff like that. Now, is it safe to drink? Yeah, probably. I mean, you know, unless you live in Gretchen Whitmer's world where she won't tell you if it's poison. It's probably safe to drink, but it isn't pleasant. So how do you combat that? Do you just buy tons of bottled water? Do you buy the filters and then filter the water? I did that same thing. It's a bit of a hassle. And it's really annoying, and I don't like doing it. It takes up too much space, too much money. If you care about the pollution landfill issue, that's certainly not going to be conducive to what you want to do. So I contacted Spencer's Quality Water because I didn't like the taste of the water in my kitchen. I also really hate the hard water and what it was doing to my brand new appliances. I didn't like it with the old appliances either, but the old appliances were there before I moved in, and the new appliances were mine, and so I wanted to protect them. And I already know that soft water protects and it really does extend the life of your appliances. Plus, it improves their performance dramatically. Your dishes are going to be cleaner. Your water is obviously not going to leave calcium deposits everywhere. Your toilet tank isn't going to be brown and full of iron deposits. So Spencer's Quality Water came out. They did a water test. It was totally free. They did a water test. They recommended a whole house water softening system. They recommended the right system for the water usage in my home, and then a reverse osmosis system, so we had clean water coming out of the tap right there in my kitchen. It has been a game changer for us. The coffee tastes better. All of our juices taste better for the kids. The water that they drink is much better. It doesn't constantly smell like bleach, and of course the skin feels better when you get out of the shower. Your clothes are better when they come out of the washer. Your dishes are cleaner. Trust me on this. Get a free water test from Spencer's Quality Water. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Totally free. Contact Spencer's Quality Water today. 574-277-1111. 574-277-1111. Let them know I said you get your 3 bags free with salt delivery. Spencer's Quality Water. Make sure you follow us online, 953mnc.com for the latest breaking news. Michiana's Morning News tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. John Solo this week, so show him some love as well. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that felt good. All right, any questions, comments, or concerns before we bounce on out of here? I'm ready to go when you are.
All set.
Casey Hendrickson here. A new peer-reviewed study about teenagers and the COVID vaccine. We'll tell you what it found. Tuesday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC. Is the Mexican place across from Nutrition HQ any good? What's the Mexican place across from Nutrition HQ?
Oh, you know what? I think that's going to go Bob Evans. Is it called Rancho?
I have never had it. I don't know.
Okay. I went there once, but I didn't go to that one. I went to the one in downtown South Bend.
Okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay. And I'm not saying this just because they advertise, but I think Monterey is good.
Monterey's pretty good. Plus, Monterey gives you kind of like you get a variety. You get traditional Mexican, you get Midwestern Mexican.
Yeah.
And then you get some stuff that is just off the wall.
The menu was similar. It's just the taste of Monterey is better.
Okay. There you go. John has had it. I have not. He says it was okay, but not as good as Monterey. Casey, I'll tell you my strategy for risk if you tell me yours. No. Never. Never, never, never. Is Alyssa starting more fires? I don't think so. I don't think Alyssa is... I don't think she's in the building. Good question, though, because she did try to burn us down once. Barry says to just go to Monterey. Tom says Monterey is the best. So I've had a few different Mexican places in town, even in Goshen, and yeah, Monterey is still the best one. I would say a close second is probably Salsa's, but there's only a couple of things that I like at Salsa's.
You know what?
And I'm really picky. I'm really picky about what I eat with Mexican and Chinese food.
Yeah,
so
the exact same way about Salsa's. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, but I mean, but it's a nice place. I always have a good experience when I go to Salsa's.
Yeah.
But the couple of times that I've strayed away from like my staples, I've not been happy.
Thank you.
If I get something, it's got to be red sauce, cheese, enchilada type.
Okay, if I go to Salsa's, I get the chicken that's stuffed with chicken.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And the last time I had it, it was so flippin' spicy. It was like the spiciest thing I've ever eaten since I'd say the mid-90s when I had chicken wings in St. Louis one time. They were ridiculous.
That's weird for Salsa's.
It was so spicy.
Paul says Salsa's is a no-go. Friend got a Band-Aid.
A Band-Aid?
That sucks.
Nice.
But I mean, you know, it's a restaurant. Things happen. Things happen. El Solito Linda in Napanee. Have not had that. So I've had them around Elkhart, Goshen, and South Bend, Mishawaka. I haven't ventured out beyond that for Mexican food. What I will say is if you're going to go to Salsa's, get the fresh guacamole.
Yeah.
It is so good. You're going to pay for it. It's expensive, but the fresh guacamole that they make at the table is so good. So very good. Yeah, but like their tacos, not a fan of the tacos. Not enough flavor. Jade Garden, yeah, I hate Jade Garden. Hate them. Tried both locations, and I'm sorry, but they were both vomit. They were so gross. I went on a tear one day, and I was sending text messages to everybody who recommended Jade Garden to us because I was so pissed at how gross it was. But I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so yummy. So, I don't know. Maybe just had a bad experience, 4 times in a row. It's entirely possible. I will say this. There's only one place in town that makes fried rice the right way, and that is Socorro. They're the only ones who do it. Everybody else who makes fried rice sucks at it. If you're looking for a real gem in Japanese food, Sakura in Elkhart is on County Road 6 is a little-known absolute gem. And everybody that I take over there who likes Japanese food, when they go there, they're like, oh my God, how did I not know about this place? And it's because they don't advertise or anything like that, but it is so good. And they have teppanyaki on one side of the restaurant. They've got normal restaurant seating on the other. You can order sushi, sashimi, you can get the teppanyaki thing. So good. We actually ate there last night. It's my kid's favorite place to go. Mexican place in Bremen. Okay. Yeah, and that's just it. Like, I don't travel very much to eat. You know, it's more like if I'm someplace and I need to eat, I'll go someplace, but I don't actually drive to go eat.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've eaten at any other Mexican restaurants here other than Monterey, which I go to the most. Salsas, which I've been to 3 times, and I've gotten the same thing. No, I've been there 4 times. And then every now and then, because my daughter likes it, we'll go to Hacienda. But I do not like Hacienda.
Yeah, I don't.
It's too Americanized for me. And
it's
to
not
me,
even
that place.
I don't need. It's.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not. It's not spicy enough for me.
I hate ragging on Hacienda because I like the company.
I like their ranch. Like if you get the chips and ranch.
Is the ranch good?
The
ranch.
Okay.
That's a big thing for us.
They are
known
they're known for their ranch.
Okay.
And you can get a big tub of it.
Okay.
So I will say
we do that at Prime Table. We get their ranch.
Yeah, their ranch is really good.
Okay.
And if you're going to go there, get the ranch. Okay. It's awesome.
Yeah, if a place has good ranch, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Somebody says Ricky's in Elkhart for Mexican. I don't think I've had Ricky's. There's the place that's.
And I did go to the El Rancho place one time last summer.
There is in Elkhart, there's the Mexican restaurant by the train tracks. We had that for my birthday. I'll probably never go back.
Thanks for watching. Period. See you in 8.
People are moving Hacienda.
I know, and I don't like, and I'm.
The border being 20
Stream
bypass and
element bot running emoji robot.
I feel bad.
Skipping some comments. NOO Dave.
My least favorite.
Dante Crash Dave.
Yeah, I like the company and I like the people who own it.
Yeah, I know.
Have a good night,
I'm just
Dave.
not into it.
Yeah, but if you go get chips and ranch, and we've gone there